happy, unfulfilled woman working in a cubicle in a West London office. And then I look at where I am now, having rowed the Atlantic and now actually completed 2 out of the 3 stages across the Pacific. Just 3 weeks ago, I arrived in the small nation of Kiribati, which is about halfway between Hawaii and Australia, where I had very interesting conversations with the people and the president there about the impact of climate change on them. Basically, in 50 years' time, they are not going to have a country that they can live in anymore, because their highest point above sea level is only 6 feet. And even before their islands are totally swamped, their fresh water supply is going to be sufficiently contaminated that they're going to have to relocate. I mean, it's hard to imagine just what it would be like for your country, where you were born, grew up, went to school, and your friends, all your experiences to just vanish. So, when I look at what's going on in my life now, for me this year has all been leading up to Copenhagen. I've been working with the UN Environment Programme, with Al Gore's Climate Project, and also with guys from 350.org, 3 amazing organisations. And I'll be travelling with them to Copenhagen for December. And it seems maybe a bit strange, you know, what's an ocean row, I have to say, about the environment. But I think there are lots of parallels between what I do and the kind of messages that we really need to internalise and implement if we're going to take action on climate change. I mentioned one of them in the video. 1 million oar strokes. You know, 1 stroke gets me nowhere, but you take 1 million tiny actions and you put them all together. And I think for us as individuals, we really need to remember that one individual action, I mean, sorry, I know all of you know this, but this is maybe a message that we're trying to spread, that one action might just be a drop in the ocean, but it does spread ripples. And if somebody sees you in the checkout line using your reusable grocery bag, or they see you deciding to ride your bicycle instead of drive to the office, it does spread the effect, and in ways that we can't even imagine. Like yesterday lunchtime, somebody had seen on my blog that I was going to be doing the climate ride and had driven his car, but he did say it was the first time he'd driven it in 4 months, to Doylestown, thank you, to meet me for lunch, because he wanted to tell me that I'd actually had an impact on his life, made him aware of these issues, and as a result he's driving his car less, and he always takes his reusable grocery bags to the store. And when I meet somebody like that, I think, wow, 10 years ago I would never have dreamed that I could actually be impacting the lives of people I'd never even met. So that really makes me feel like I must be doing something right. And I think I can speak from first-hand experience the power of identifying when a course needs to be corrected. When I did that obituary exercise that I mentioned in the video, when I looked at where my life was going versus where I wanted it to go, and realised that if I carried on living every day as I lived that day, I wasn't going to end up where I wanted to be. I realised then that a course correction was necessary. But having said that, it still took me several years to actually pluck up the courage to make that change, because it was a pretty radical change in my life, and I was scared. And I think that there's actually a lot of fear out there about climate change. I think that at every level, from individual level up all the way up to political level, change is scary. There's something in the human ego that is anti-change, because the ego says doing things exactly the same is what's kept you alive this long. So if you change something, who knows, it might all go horribly wrong, so just carry on doing the same thing. And that's quite a difficult, instinctive feeling to overcome at every level of the political process. But I think my message would be that when you actually find that courage to take that first step, it's the first step that's the difficult bit. And once you've taken that first step, and you change onto that new path, and it develops, there is like a power in the commitment of that change. And once you've started that ball rolling, it gathers its own momentum. And really, certainly in my life, amazing and special things have really started to happen. And I hope that collectively, as a species, we can take a sufficiently long-term view to realise that this track that we're on, and that we've probably been on since the Industrial Revolution, certainly for the last 50 years, is taking us towards a planet where we don't want to live. It's taking us to a place we don't want to be. And we have to correct. We need to find the courage to commit to that new course. And once we do, amazing possibilities are going to open up. There's so much scope in the green technologies. And I think if we can just communicate that really exciting vision of the future, a green, positive, happy future. Sorry, it's the dippy hippie in me coming out, but if we can make that appealing and something that people want to aspire to, and get away from this language of sacrifice and having to give up your cars and having to turn down the heating, there is so much more to be excited about. And once we're on that track, we'll wonder what took us so long. So that's what I'm hoping to have the opportunity to say in Copenhagen, and in the meantime, I'm saying it to anybody who will stand still for long enough to listen to what I have to say, and just trying to do my little bit to spread a few ripples. And I would just like to extend a huge thank you to the wonderful people here. I've spoken with so many of you are working in the green sector, and in many, many different ways, you're also putting the word out there. And I really believe that if we all pull together, we can create a world of difference. Thank you all so much.